Today I'm going to talk about The Six Human Needs by Tony Robbins and what happened when those human needs are not met, and how not having those human needs not met can impact our emotions, especially anger. There's If you're a big Tony fan like me, Tony Robbins talks about the six human needs. And in this presentation, I'm going to share with you what they are and how they can perhaps might be the root cause of you feeling angry, and especially to those in front of those you love, and also that they are might not be the cause. They might be just a trigger. By handling yourself, what's really underneath that anger is something else. Might be needs that you have that might not have been met. All right, it's something that not many people are aware of it. Through the years that I've been studying with Tony, and I realized there are a lot of things that actually are inside of us that we need to handle. And first, and then also, a lot of the solutions are actually inside of us, but most people look for the solution outside. So it's important that I mention these six needs so you have an idea how to manage your anger, and especially to those you love. Not just love, but you as a person, learning how to take care of yourself is also we call it self-love, right? Aside from the food that you eat, the physical aspect, there's also the emotion aspect, the emotional home. Yeah, that's right. Tony mentioned about the emotional home. The emotional homes are the emotions that we also must learn how to take care of. Emotion, happy, joy, we don't need to look after that. We know how to do that. But what happened to those emotions that are negative, like anger, sadness, fear, worry, guilt, and hurt? Those are important to take care of, right? Like, I mean, some of you already know that I am such a big fan in taking care of our physical body, food, the way you move, and then in this case right now, looking after the emotional side. So everything contribute to your overall well-being. But today we're really going to talk about the underlying core issue that might be the cause of you having anger symptoms. And I'm going to share with you what are those needs, and then you can look at those needs and see which one of those that you might be neglecting. And because now that you know, if you know which area, which needs that might be neglected, you can do something about it. And once you do something about it, it's something, a step towards handling your anger emotion. All right. So, what is like I wrote down here so I remember what this needs, the human needs. We all need certain needs in our life to be happy, right? The six needs that Tony mentioned in all his seminars, what makes people happy. And it's like a recipe, right? It's a recipe. If you are someone who cook, you need all the ingredients. And according to Tony Robbins, in order to be happy and fulfill, these needs must be met, right? We all have this, but perhaps some of us have more and less of that. So by understanding what these needs are, you can take a look at what they are and figure out, are you haven't balance in all these needs. Okay, what are these needs? What are the needs? The first need, maybe I would write it down here. What are these needs and how can they lead to frustrations and anger? Let's explore them. Explore these needs. 6 Human Needs by Tony Robbins. All right. The first need is the need to be certainty. And I will explain to you certainty. What does that mean? Right? What happened when people have no certainty in life? Like, for example, no job security, no lack of stable income, and lack of perhaps living good condition. Right now, you probably already know that the inflation, the job insecurity, many jobs are being replaced from AI. That's that's not secure, right? There's no certainty here. So when someone have lack of certainty in their life, that might lead to frustration, anxiety. Okay, so if you're a parent and having all this uncertainty in life, lack of, you don't know whether you're going to have your job or not. You don't know whether, whether you have enough money because the inflation keep going up. So those might lead you to feeling anxious. And what happens when you have a lot of anxious feelings and someone else perhaps might be, it would be hard for you to handle even the tiniest little challenge, right? You go home and perhaps your loved ones might be just a little bit off, might trigger you because you already have frustration from thinking, where I'm going to get money to supply, to provide for my family. That might be an issue. So maybe perhaps look at yourself. Is that the area that might need to look at? All right. So first need is, are you happy in that area? Are you certain in your life condition, financial, jobs? All right. So the first one is certainty. So, and second one that might also, another need that might be the cause of your anger or frustration could be uncertainty, right? We have a certainty and now uncertainty. Uncertainty or variety, lack of variety. Well, how does this uncertainty and lack of variety lead to frustration and easily get frustrated? Think about it. If you're like someone, I actually get a lot of credit to certain people who stay in a job for many years. Next time, ask yourself, are you happy in a job that you stay there for many years? A lot of people might find it bored, right? Bored. And what happened when somebody stay there and they afraid to get out to do something different, right? Lack of uncertainty, doing the same thing over and over again. And there's no challenge and feeling stuck, right? If you go to a job where you do the same thing over and over again, and there's no, what would you call it? There's no way for you to move up the ladder in your job. And take a look at, how do you feel? Do you enjoy doing the same thing over again? Or you want something, but you're afraid. You want something different, right? So, and how do you do it, right? Of course, you can try something new, but because there's no way for you to try something new. So this lack of challenge in your life might be the root cause of your frustration. And sometimes we just blame on someone else for our perhaps own boredom at work. So next time, ask yourself, am I happy at work? Is this what I want? Right? So uncertainty and lack of variety in someone's life might also lead to frustration and anger. Okay? That's the second need. But if you love what you're doing, that's fine. Not all these needs apply to you. But in order to be happy, according to Tony Robbins, and someone need to be happy, all these needs must be met to a certain level. All right. So first one, certainty, uncertainty. Okay. What's another need that might be off balance in your life that might be the cause of frustration and anger? The next one is significance. Feeling important in your life, feeling important in front of your loved ones at work, feeling valued. Ask yourself, are you feeling value in your environment? Because why? Not feeling value or unimportant, or when we feel ignored by those who we love at work, at home, that might lead to frustration and feeling angry. All right. So, or feeling resentment and bitterness. And sometimes we might get aggressive, right? For example, I remember someone I know not really feeling appreciated at work. And then for many years, she stayed in the job. But she was never made to feel that she was important. Other people get the raise, but she didn't. And then she finally had the courage to switch job. Now she's happier. The people in her new job value her more and make her feel important. So it's important to recognize your environment. Are you being valued there? Right? For example, if you have an antique car, and if you bring that car because you want money to a pawn shop, the pawn shop might give you a different price versus if you bring that car to someone who collects antique car, like someone who value antiques, right? So the price he give you is going to be different. So make sure if you're not feeling significant, check your environment. Who are you hanging around with? Is your value equivalent to those around you, right? For example, another example I give you is if you have perhaps like me, for myself, I didn't feel valuable for the longest time. I was a stay-at-home mom for 20 years. And the people in my life, they have many skills for the outside world. They're valuable. They professionally, they can produce a lot more. For the longest time, I didn't feel I was important. But that's the truth, right? I didn't feel important in that environment because they have value. They're more valuable in the marketplace. So I didn't feel I belong there until like now I learned a new skill where I can provide certain values in the environment. Right now, I can actually have the experience like now to share with you, which before I didn't. So for the longest time, when I meet up with men professionals outside, I didn't feel I was valuable. I feel like I was a stay-at-home mom because I didn't have certain skill, right? So that's also important too. If you no longer feel you belong to environment, something that you can do is increase the skill set so you become more valuable. So the people around you can communicate with you at the same level. Before, all I talk about is food, what to make for dinner, where to go and get grocery. But now I talk about how to increase sales, marketing, for attracting and impacting more people out there, right? So it's different environment that it's giving me right now to feel what I need to feel. Okay, so if you're not feeling value, I get angry, right? But because I didn't feel I was valuable about certain people, so I was frustrated. I was a little bit angry and sad, right? You know, anger and sad goes together. If you have certain things in your life that you're not happy, and you get angry because you're not happy, and then you get angry for feeling angry. No, you get sad for feeling angry, and then you feel angry for feeling sad, and all different emotions accumulate. So this need for significance, to feel significant, is also something you need to look at. That might be the cause of your feeling angry towards your loved ones. I'm going to talk about loved ones or friends because those are the people who matter to us the most, and those are the people we wanted to control emotions. All right. So make sure you check who you hang around with on a daily basis. All right. So fourth need. Oops. That need to be looked at is love and connection. What happened when there's lack of love and connection in your life? Well, there will be it result in sadness, feeling empty and just lonely. And what happened when people do that? Well, they might feel jealous of other people, who are so connected with other people. I mean, have you ever seen families who are laughing together, who are having such a good time, and you're not, right? Doesn't make you feel a little bit sad, right? And when you feel sad, you might feel frustrated that you might not have that in your life. And then sometimes it might show up, in the way you deal with people. Okay, feeling angry, feeling frustrated because you don't have that in your life. But that's okay. The good news is you can actually go and connect with people. That's the beauty, right? You can go and create love and connect with people. Something you can do. I forgot to write this up. Love and connection. You might have everything else. You might have a lot of money. You might feel important. You might have, many, many amazing things in your life. But what happened when the people you love and are not talking to you in life? Conflicts. And you're not making an effort to connect with them. Right? So it's important to look at the relationships in your life. Relationships. Are they the relationship that you're proud with? All right. So are there people in your life that you wanted to connect, but you're afraid? You wanted so much. Parents, friends, kids. I can tell you one example of myself. There was a time during COVID me and my sister had a fallout. She's my best friend, my only sister. And we had a little argument. This little argument over my parents moving to a new house. And I wasn't able to help her, but she did. But I forgot to recognize her effort. Instead, I was defending myself. I was giving excuses. And because of that, we had a fallout, meaning we didn't talk. We used to be like best buddy. We talk, we do everything together, and I value her and she valued me. And because of that little incident, I wasn't able to connect with her the way I wanted. I wanted to connect with her again but then she didn't want to connect with me, because I know if losing her, losing that connection, losing that relationship with her would devastate me. I feel lonely. I feel I didn't feel good. So what did I do? I went up to her. It wasn't easy. I tried to give her flowers and apologize. It didn't work. I bought her her favorite food. I bought her a box of mango. She ignored me because she is someone I wanted back in my life. Again, I text her, she ignored me. And because she's someone I wanted to connect, I didn't really care what she wanted. I knew what I wanted. So I kept on connecting. I ignored the rejection. And again, I keep trying. I think Tony Robbins told me, repetition is the mother of skill. It doesn't matter what it is, whether to connect with the people that you had a fallout with, or you missed. But if you want something enough, you have to must rebuild the connection and do anything to get them back in your life. So of course I keep trying, and it was on her 50th birthday. I held a birthday party for her, and she came to my house. Even that day, the connection wasn't like 100%. And slowly over time, the connection got better. So what I'm trying to say is, without her in my life, I wouldn't be so fulfilled, so happy. Okay? So having that love and connection from my sister was something I'm very proud that I earned it back. And if there are people in your life that you want to have in your life back, and you haven't been able to, something might be missing inside of you, and might lead to feeling frustrated. Okay, so that's my story, how I earned love and connection back from my sister. I mean, there are other areas in your life that you might, perhaps using my strategy that work, because repetition is a mother's skill. Doesn't matter what it is. Something, if love and connections is one of the needs that you are lacking. All right. So I went on too far, too far in that one, but that is one of the success for me the last few years in this stage in my life. And okay, the next human need that might be the cause of your frustration and anger is growth. Lack of growth. Lack of growth. What do you mean by that, Helen? Do we still grow? Yes, we do. Actually, physically and emotionally. Trust me, I know, because people think, oh my God, you're 50, you can't build muscles anymore. That's not true. I am in my mid-50s. You can actually still grow muscles. And I've done it, and I've proven it. So growth, if, for example, if you're physically declining, if you're not able to do the things that you used to do, you might feel frustrated, right? For example, if you're not being able to keep up with your kids, if they go travel and you can go out, no longer be able to keep up with them, you might feel left behind and might make you feel sad, right? So physically, lack of growth in that area might be the cause of your frustration, right? Feeling stuck. You stay home, and while your kids and your younger friends, your friends who are stronger physically, do things, and you just sit back and watch them because you can't do it, right? So check your physical body and your energy. See if that could be the need that need to be looked at. Okay, emotionally, you can actually feel stuck if you're not growing. Tony Robbins always say, progress is the secret to really feeling happy all the time, right? You're learning something new. You know, human love to try new things, right? You seen seeing trees or the things in your garden every year grow. And that's why people who retire love gardening, because this grow. You do something and you see the result every day or every month. You do something new, right? Instead of doing the same thing every day and no challenge. So lack of growth, if there's no growth in your life, you might feel stuck. So you can learn something new, set new goals, challenge yourself. For me, I mentioned this earlier, start working out at age 49. I get excited because I didn't have to feel stuck in my old body. I wasn't able to do the things I used to do. By age 45, I wasn't able to wear heels again because my muscles were weak. And by going to the gym, trying new things, trying new machines, I start working out, resistance training, my body is growing physically. And not just that, emotionally. I'm learning. I feel good about myself. There's a new challenge emotionally, learning something new. It gives you confidence, right? So ask yourself, are you growing emotionally? Areas in your life that make you next level happiness. And physically, very important. If you're in pain, it would be hard to be happy when you're in pain all the time, right? If you have weak muscles and you can't do the thing, it would make you not happy. So what would happen? It make you feel, sad and frustrated. Okay, so check the areas in your life where growth might be the cause of your frustration. Okay, and last need, contribution. Feeling purposeful, making a difference in other people's life. Like, this is usually the last contribution, last stage. Usually in our last stage, in our life, it is because when we're younger, we have so many personal things like kids to look after first, right? Contribution, I meant in this case, giving back, of course, to those who we love, but to our community, to our world. A lot of times, many people have lots of money, but just having a lot of success, but having the success by yourself is great. But a lot of people are still not happy. Why? Because the secret to living is giving. You have everything, you have achieved everything. Then what's next? Are you giving cheap, keep chasing more? Or are you going to start helping other people, right? Because there's only so much physically that you can achieve. People have billions of dollars. What makes you happy is the need to contribute to other people, like serving other people. That's why so many people right now who are retired, they volunteer. They volunteer in senior care home, and many causes that help the community to be better or help the young people, right? And perhaps some people continue to pursue a passion, earning financially more, and they donate all the money back to the community with the purpose, right? Contribution. So see if your life has space for giving back to the community. And sometimes people have everything else, but they're still not happy. Perhaps this need, the need to contribute, to give back, to volunteer might be need to look at. Because again, right, when you have everything, what's next might make you feel stuck and frustrated. All right, so these are the 6 human needs that that Tony Robbins talk about, and when they are feeling, and when they're unmet, that might be the cause to your frustration and anger. Okay, by addressing these needs in your life, take a look at each one and see how much, what level of balance, whatever, what level do you need to get more? Maybe you already have certainty in your life, and you might need have some variety in your life, right? Like something different, right? So take a look at all this: certainty, uncertainty, significance, love and connection, growth and contribution. Once you have all these met, and then experiments to see if your frustrations are more manageable, and watch how you respond to challenges in your life. I'm pretty sure when all your needs here are met, you feel calmer, more relaxed, more joyful in your life, especially around those you love. Thank you so much. I would invite Coach Alan to come and share his expertise in this area in showing you how to manage your anger and frustration way better. Thank you.
All right, Miss Helen, thank you so much for doing that. Well done. Well done. Well done. Hey, everybody. How's it going? Coach Alan over here. Wasn't Helen fantastic? Always trying her best for you, to help you, to serve you. Because at the end of the day, I was checking my notes here. At the end of the day, we all come from a really similar place. We all come from that place where there's a point in time in life where we were super frustrated. We were super angry. You know, I grew up as an angry child because I had an angry environment, and all I knew was just, you know, I don't get what I want, get angry about it. Helen was very similar in her upbringing, and I'm sure you probably feel the same at some level. That's probably what keeps us all here together, right? That we're all learning from each other some way, somehow. So for my part today, I want to elaborate a little bit more on her talk about 6 human needs, because real quick, when I was in my 20s, I didn't know that this existed. I had no idea. And once I learned about it, one of the first things I did was I thought to myself, well, that's cool. It's good to know, but I probably don't need to know much more about that. Like, I need to go and achieve. I need to go accomplish stuff. I need to, you know, be the man per se, whatever that meant. Basically, what I was looking for was I was looking for a way to feel significant, like I was somebody. But through this work, we discover that if you're always chasing to be someone and you act that way when you're not, then 9 times out of 10, even when you do succeed and you get that thing, whatever that is, you still don't feel happy. You still don't feel happy. And I can say that personally because there were several times in my life where I thought, if I just get this business going, if I just get the girl that I want, if I just build the body of my dreams, if I just, here I am now at 46 and realizing, okay, chasing is good, but it doesn't always lead to happiness. not if we're not coming from the right place. So elaborating on what Helen said, it actually comes from Tony, okay? So I want to say real quick, I'm paraphrasing from a training that Tony Robbins did way back that I saw, I think around 2008. And I still hold true to using these principles today in hopes that it'll help you as well. When it comes to letting go of our anger, first thing we should do is just figure out, well, what causes it? Using this diagram of the 6 human needs, Tony always says this. From all of his training, from all of his studies, from all the people he's helped, the millions of people he's had access to, the one thing that he's noticed that makes the people most angry, and consistently the most angry, is when they live with the majority of their emotions being, or if they lead their life with always needing certainty, or if they always need significance. I think a better way of describing that is, I'm just going to change felts here real quick. A better way of describing that is he says, when people live their life, they live it in a certain order. So some people, for example, will choose to make love and connection the most important thing in their life. And if they make this the most important, that life looks very different. The choices that they make is really different compared to someone, let's say, who makes significance the most important. Now, remember, we have all 6 of these in our lives at some level, at some way, somehow. We were constantly living within these 6. It's why he created them, because he noticed that no matter what part of the world you're in, no matter what the culture, ethnicity, background, unless you're an alien of some kind, if you're human, then this is, whether consciously or unconsciously, this is what you live with. This is what we all live with. But he said that the people who are the most unhappy when they make certainty or significance the most important values of their life. The most important values of their life. Now, why is that? Why am I pointing this out? Well, to my understanding, okay, I'm only going to talk now from personal experience with the hundreds of people that I've been able to help, not the millions, but the hundreds. The one thing I've noticed, and I'm sure Helen can attest to this as well, is that we've noticed a pattern. People who live in the need to have everything be certain, they're usually the people who are very inflexible. They're not very flexible. So for example, I grew up with this individual who was like a guardian of mine. I'm not going to say names in case they ever see this. I'm not here to disrespect anyone. It's just a learning tool. And they meant well. They're really good people. But I remember as I was growing up, the day would be totally fine. Everything would be fine. And they were the kind of person that would plan out the day. Like, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do next. This is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. It was almost like a calendar, almost like it was charted for us. So it wasn't a lot of that, they were a big planner, and that was great. What I noticed is that the moment the plan changed, oftentimes if it was just out of nowhere, then usually what would happen is their plan would change and it would instantly trigger them to become angry. And I always used to wonder, like, why are they so angry? And I'm talking about something as simple as, we were going on a boating trip. I was a kid and my cousin decides to drive the boat because my dad says, hey, drive the boat. Give it a shot. You want to try? And my cousin's like, hey, can I drive the boat? Yeah, sure. So as we were on the boat, there's me, my cousins, my dad, my uncle. And as the boat is driving, all of a sudden the waves start kicking in. It starts getting really bumpy. And my cousin at the time, he was young. He must have been like maybe 15, 16, and he got nervous, as anybody would. As he got nervous, he got a little bit more stiff on the wheel. My dad was trying to say, hey, just loosen up on the wheel, go with the wave. Don't worry about it. This is normal. Well, as my dad's explaining this, there's some other people in the boat that start yelling and screaming. Why are you hitting the waves? Why are you making the boat so choppy? Why do you do this? Why do you do that? And they're yelling. Well, okay, the boat was bumpy, but why did they yell? They yelled because they expected a calm ride. They expected that as long as there's no major waves, then we should be okay. And to them, bumpy waves and hitting against the boat meant pain and meant maybe death, maybe falling over the boat, maybe something horrific. Well, did any of that happen? No. We hit the bumps, blah, 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 blah. To my memory, I was young, but to my memory, we hit some bumps, it bounced around a little bit. Then after that, it settled. But the whole time, this person in the boat was screaming at the top of their lungs. Why am I saying this? It's an example of certainty. They were uncertain of the outcome of the waves, as something as simple as the bumpy waves, that they freaked out so heavily that it caused my family, my mom, my aunt, they're all like, screw this. They forced my cousin, not really forced, but they just told him, like, look, turn this boat around, turn it around right now. We turned around, we got off the boat, and we just left a couple of individuals in there that were yelling and screaming. And my parents, my mom basically said, you drive the boat. We're doing something else. Bye. Like, it just ruined the whole day over wavy bumps. This is an example of what it's like to live in an expectation of certainty. If you're always expecting everything to be certain, you're not going to get very far. And you're not going to live very happily, because it's easy to nudge you. It's easy to make you short-tempered. It's easy to make you feel uneasy if you're living your life with making certainty the priority. And that's why Tony says people who live with certainty or significance as the top of their priority list, they can be successful, but not very happy. And what's the point of having success at any level if there's no happiness in it? And I'm not just talking about money. Okay, yes, you can be a millionaire, but if nobody likes you, well, what's the point of being a millionaire? You're alone. You can have a successful family where everybody's in the house, if you can call that successful. But if your kids don't want to talk to you, or if you can't talk to your spouse, or every time they even forget to do something small, like put away the dishes, and they freak out, well, there's no happiness. How is that? Like, I grew up with that, right? I'm not pointing fingers. That was something that was mandatory in my household. The dishes weren't done. My dad was livid. Like, he was angry. Significance. Now, what's the definition of significance? Significance is where a person values status, that they have to be recognized, known. I am somebody. My name has some value to it. There's meaning to it. I've got a title. Or sometimes somebody says, I'm the CEO, and they say it like they're God. Or somebody says, I'm the top therapist, or I'm the number one athlete, and then you treat everybody else poorly. Significance is fine, but if somebody lives their life where they make significance the most important, they too end up feeling very unhappy, because what they're doing is they're chasing something that they believe will give them ultimately something that we all want. Something that we all want. I'm going to take a second. I'm going to keep quiet for 10 seconds. I'm going to ask you, what is it that you think people that chase after significance ultimately, I put this down because I can't get this off. Yeah. Ultimately, what do they really, really want? Well, at the end of the day, people who chase significance, they want that. Kind of cheesy, but that's what they want. Helen's laughing. She's laughing at my butt-looking heart. It's not very pretty. I'm not a very good artist, in case you hadn't noticed. I kind of suck at that. But that's not the point. The point is that if they chase significance, at the end of the day, why do they do that? We've been taught that ultimately they just want love. They want love because either they grew up feeling like they weren't recognized or noticed. Oftentimes, people who were chasing significance felt like they weren't seen. Like, that happens a lot when you see families that have kids of like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or more. These days, it's like you'd be lucky to find a family that has 4 kids. Usually it's like 2, maybe 3 at most. But, in my circle of friends, I've got a handful of friends. They're wonderful people, but they ultimately chase significance. Like, they want to be somebody. It matters to them. And they'll step on almost anyone. They'll give up almost any relationship. They'll make themselves and their name and their title more valuable than almost anything else. Well, why is that? Here's what I discovered from doing a little bit of digging from my circle of friends. And if my friends see this, guys, I love you. I'm not being rude or disrespectful. I'm just, you know me, I'm the kind of guy that pays attention. Okay. If ever you guys see this video, what I've noticed is that when you look at a lot of their backgrounds, oftentimes they're individuals who grew up with families where they didn't feel appreciated, where they had a brother or a sister that got more love, more attention, that got more praise from either mom, dad, or both. Son, you're doing so good. You are going to be you are the golden child. You hear that a lot with Asian families. You're the golden child. And then there's the other brother or sister or both. They're like, well, what about me? And when they hear that enough times, they get programmed oftentimes they get programmed to think to themselves, well, shit, I didn't get the love that I want when I was a kid. I'm going to go get that now as an adult. And I'm going to make sure when I walk into a room, everybody sees me. Everybody knows my name. That's an example of significance. So why does that cause pain? Why am I saying that if somebody chases, or why is Tony, this is actually Tony's work. Why is it that when he says, we covered certainty, if significance is the most important thing, why does that cause so much pain? Because a lot of times people who chase significance, they get it. They get it because they're so hungry for it. They just steer their whole life towards it. Well, here's why. Because oftentimes significance does not equal love. Significance does not equal love, especially with the way people chase significance. You know, when I look at, again, my circle of people, past and present, oftentimes the people who chase significance, number one, do they usually bring people with them? Sometimes, but often they don't. Number two, when it comes to recognition, do they usually give recognition to other people? Or do they expect all that recognition, or 99% of it, for themselves? Oftentimes they expect it for themselves. So in many cases, again, not all. You know, you look at a guy like Tony Robbins, he's very significant, but he's different in the sense that he's always trying to bring people up with him. It's one of the things I love about him and his work. It's why I followed him ever since 2005. He's an amazing human being. But not everybody follows that pattern of developing significance. If you look at significance, generally speaking, it's usually one person or one guy, one girl, or maybe a couple, few people, and then a huge gap to everybody else down here. Not in reality. Like, I'm not saying this is really how it is. I'm saying in their minds, that's how they usually chase their idea of significance. Because again, when you look at the root cause where it comes from a lack of this growing up. It comes usually from a parent, a mom, a dad, a sibling that just constantly told them, you're not good enough. Or even worse, here's all my kids, but I barely see you. Oh, here's my daughter. She's so pretty. She's so beautiful. She's so whatever. But then there's the other daughter. Well, what about me? Right? Or there's a daughter that gets all the love, that gets all the support from mom and dad. And then there's a son that's like, okay, yeah, you need a pair of pants, we'll get you one. But, you know, daughter gets the full wardrobe. Daughter's birthday, big celebration. Son's birthday, here's a cake. You know, I'm saying that because many of us have had to go through that. And that's why it's important that as you're listening to this part of my talk that complements Helen's explanation of the 6 human needs, you got to ask yourself, when you're getting angry, when you're getting upset, what are you really chasing after? Or what are you really trying to get as a result? Well, you might say, well, I want to get their attention. I want them to know how they hurt me, how that thing pissed me off. I get that a lot. How that pissed me off. Okay, well, how does that make you feel when it pisses you off? Well, it pissed me off because they didn't understand. They didn't get me. Well, what do you mean they didn't get you? Well, they didn't understand where I was coming from. They didn't understand. So what are you trying to say? Did you not feel significant in that moment? No, it's not about significance. I didn't feel like I was important, or I didn't feel heard. Well, That's just a different way of saying it. But at the end of the day, that's what it boils down to, is this. So in closing, I'm asking you to, number one, if you really want to learn this, like if you really want to understand yourself and understand where you come from, like why am I always getting so triggered? Why is it so easy for my day to go wrong, to get ruined? Well, I'll tell you why. It's because there's a good chance that you might be living your life predominantly in one of these two values, making one of these the most important. Yes, of course, there's times where you like variety and uncertainty. Yes, there's times where you feel love and connection. Yeah, there's times where you're going to be feeling like you're growing. Being in this video, watching this video with Helen and I, this helps you grow because it gives you a deeper understanding of yourself. Yeah, there's going to be times where you have contribution. You give gifts to somebody on Christmas, on their birthday, that's a sense of contribution. You give $5 or a sandwich to the homeless guy down the street, that's contribution, right? You're going to have all of these. But what we're talking about today is which one do you live most of your time in? And if you discover that you live in one of those two, today is your chance to make that switch for yourself. Today's your chance to ask yourself, do I want to keep making these two the priority values that I live in? Or maybe do I want to find out how I can start making something else more important? I'll tell you right now, the people who live, for example, making love and connection the most important thing in their life, they're some of the happiest people on earth. Not always the richest, not always the wealthiest, not always the famous, the most famous, not always the most significant, not always the most well-known, but they're some of the happiest people that you can't take their happiness away from. Tony Robbins interviewed this one guy, for example, and I'll wrap up here in a few minutes, but I want to share this with you because I thought it was astounding. He interviewed this guy that had something crazy like 12 kids or 10 kids. Like it was more than 8, okay? This goes back like 20 years ago. And one of the first questions Tony asked was, hey man, you have like a little football team of children. Like he's at this guy's house. He's trying to interview and there's kids jumping up and down. There's another one throwing toilet paper from one end to the other. There's another one that's just sitting in the corner. It's a girl. She's kind of playing with her doll and somebody else is drawing this other kid. And then the other one's just like, mommy, I'm hungry. Like it's like a zoo in there. And Tony's trying to interview this guy and he's trying so hard to look at this guy in the face. Could you imagine trying to do this? So, sir, tell me about, while like all this chaos is happening around you, and Tony didn't have a lot of kids in his life during that time. So he looks at him and he says, sir, how do you do it? How do you remain so calm with all of this happening around you? And the guy looks at him and he goes, Tony, I got one rule. Have less rules in your life. And Tony was like, that's pure genius. Because the guy, okay, and I'm assuming here, the guy's looking at his kids going, well, my kids, they're not out in the street. No one's trying to kill them, hurt them, take advantage of them. They're in my house. They're feeling really good. Okay, they're banging up the walls and they're, coloring on the couch and they're doing some wild stuff. But they're happy and they're safe and they're healthy and they're with me. So I got that many kids. Like, how else am I supposed to sustain relationships with all of them and keep them all safe and keep them all happy unless I got less rules? I thought that was beautiful. And I'm sharing that with you because if you look at how people live when they have love and connection, when they make this the priority, do you think that they get pissed off if the plans change? No. They're like, plans change? Okay, cool. No problem. I'm still with you, my partner or my friend or my buddies. We still have this connection. All right. You think if somebody calls them and says, hey, you want to watch this movie? And they're like, oh, I already watched it. But they really love spending time with their friend or friends. Do you think they're going to be like, why would I waste my time? Forget it. I already saw it. No. Love and connection people go, oh, you want to watch it? I really did like that movie. I wouldn't mind seeing it again. And I haven't seen my buddy in a long time. This is a good time to just hang out with them. Yeah, let's go. Because they care more about the love and connection. If you want to be happy, learn to shift. And what I found is that if you make this the priority, or even this the priority, uncertainty and variety, you know what kind of people these are? They're the party people. They're the fun people. They're the ones when you walk into a party, they're going, hey, how's it going? Hey, how you doing? Oh my God, this is so good. Oh, that punch. Who made this punch? It's amazing. It's amazing. I want more of this. They're the ones that when you walk into a room, they got energy. And when they see you, they light you up. And when you say to them, hey, I don't feel like steak and eggs today. How about we go get some Chinese? They're like, you know what? Chinese is cool. I like Chinese. Those Asian people, they make a wing of fried rice. Let's go get some. That's the person you want to hang out with. That's what this personality type is. So question, have you ever thought about that person being you? And maybe you are already. I don't know. But if you're not, do you realize that you actually have the power and the capability to shift any of these as your main priority in life, your main value, which means that if you make the shift, your personality shifts, your ability to be more self-control shifts, your power shifts, your ability to get more of what you want that makes you feel good rises, and the things that normally piss you off and ruin your day, it lowers. Now, I'm not saying that when you make the shift, all of a sudden life is perfect. Nothing makes you angry. Nothing makes you pissed off. We're human. We're supposed to get angry sometimes. Sometimes. We're supposed to get mad sometimes. We're supposed to feel down sometimes. But it's as the old saying goes, people are meant to experience pain. That's life. But suffering is a choice. And you, my friend, you don't have to suffer. Not if you learn how to make that shift in yourself. So look, I'm looking at the time right now. It is 57 minutes in. Helen and I shared a lot with you today. We're usually around an hour when we're together doing these calls. I want to close off with this. If you want to learn more about the 6 human needs, number 1, go to Google or go to ChatGPT. Up to you. Number 2, type in, what are Tony Robbins' 6 human needs? And you'll get a spit out. You'll get an explanation of what they are in detail. If you're familiar with using AI, ChatGPT, Gemini, there's a whole bunch of them now, type in, how do I use these 6 human needs to improve the quality of my emotions and my life? How do I use these 6 human needs to improve the quality of my emotions and my life? And provide me with daily action steps that can help me achieve this. And provide me with daily action steps to help me achieve this. AI is amazing these days. If you're using it, then you'll get answers within minutes. And I'm telling you, if you do that for yourself, you start building yourself a new routine, don't be surprised if in 30 days, 60, 90, definitely within a year from today, you go back to this video a year from today, and see who you are now and who you could be in terms of better controlling your anger, living happier, having more self-power. Forget control, just self-empowerment. There's no telling how far and how much better your life could be once you have that one core attribute. Like not impact, but intact in a way where you know that when you need it, it's on. When you need to control your behavior, it's there. When you need to better connect with someone, you have it. But nobody can give that to you. I hope you understand that. Like all of our talks, any person you listen to, we're just giving you advice, but it's up to you to do that because nobody's got control over your life. It's not like Helen and I have strings here, like on the top of your head, like turn left, walk right, do this, we got no control. But you have all the control. Because it is your life. And to be honest with you, that's the way it should be. No one should ever have power over you, but you should have full power over yourself, over your behavior, over the way you perceive your life and the quality of it or the lack thereof. So that's it for today. You know what you got to do for your homework. You don't have to do it. You get to do it. And trust me, when you take a few minutes to do this for yourself, don't be surprised, or be surprised, be amazed by how much further your life can go, how much better your quality relationships can be, and just how much happier you can be as a person, no matter what is happening to you on the outside. I hope that helps for today. Any questions or comments, let us know. We're always here to chat with you and help however we can. Thank you for listening in. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon. We'll see you next week.